What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chess Giant. This is Solomon Riddell, and today we're going to be going over a game by Mikhail Tal as he played against Anatoly Karpov in a Blitz game held in 1987. Tal has a very aggressive style of play, and I'm excited to show you guys this game. Tal was with the white pieces, and Karpov was with the black pieces. So let's just hop right in. E4, C6, Karpov going for the Karl-Khan here. C4, D5, E takes D5, C takes D5, C takes D5, Knight F6. Both sides are just developing here. Knight C3, Knight takes D5. A pretty quiet position. Knight F3, Knight takes C3, B takes C3, G6, looking to fianchetto the bishop. D4, Bishop G7, Bishop D3 again. Both sides just naturally developing here with castles and castles. Knight C6, Rook E1. This is a nice move by Tal, just putting his rook on the open file. Rook E8, Bishop G5, and Bishop E6. Now here Karpov realizes that this square on C4 is weak. Same with this square on D5. Future moves could include Knight A5, Rook C8. The knight can come into C4. The bishop can come into C4. And black has room to breathe here. However, Tal had different ideas. Here Tal took the bishop on E6 with the rook, with rook takes E6. And here after F takes E6, we see that white is down the exchange. He just gave up a rook for a bishop. However, this pawn on E6 is really weak. Not to mention that it's double isolated pawns here. And on top of that, the rook on E8 is not looking very good here. So here Tal wastes no time attacking the pawn on E6 with the move Bishop C4. Attacking this pawn on E6. Queen D6, defending it. And here, Queen E2. Again, putting pressure on the E6 pawn. Here Karpov was actually forced to go backwards with Knight D8 to protect the pawn. And again, Tal plays Rook E1. With these last three moves, Bishop C4, Queen E2, and Rook E1, they all put pressure on this pawn on E6, and it's put black in kind of an awkward position. Here we see Rook C8. And in this position, Tal tries to better his position. He looks at the position and goes, how can I make my pieces better? This knight on F3 is not a bad piece, but it would be a lot stronger if it was on E4. So he plays the move Knight D2. And after King H8, Knight E4, attacking the queen. Here Karpov plays Queen C7. Idea being that the rook and the queen here are attacking this bishop on C4. So the bishop's forced to retreat to B3. And E5. Now here in this position, Tal realizes that this king on H8 is very exposed and does not have a lot of defense. So here Tal launches a kingside attack, going for the king with H4. And after E takes D4, Tal doesn't even bother taking the pawn back. He plays H5, aggressively going for the king on H8. I think the best move here for black was to play Queen B6. And after a move like Queen G4, attacking the rook, Rook C7. And in this position, black's doing okay. However, after H5, Karpov took the pawn. Now this was a blitz game, but Tal missed the very nice move, Knight F6. Which basically wins the game. An example line is Knight C6, Queen takes H5, and if something like Bishop takes F6, we have Bishop C2. There's just not much black can do in this position. We are threatening a checkmate here on H7, and after a move like E6, the bishop hangs. And after King G8, the very nice move, Rook E4. Idea being the rook's going to come to G4, and attack this king on g8. So after g takes h5, knight f6 would have won the game. And Tal missed this and played queen takes h5, which again, white's still doing just fine here. The idea here is that this rook on e8 is being attacked, so black was forced to play rook f8. And here we see bishop c2, eyeing this h7 pawn. Here black actually played the best move in the position, which is queen e5. Here Karpov has a centralized queen that's very active. And in this position, Tal had already given up the exchange. He's already given up a pawn. And now he gives up another rook with knight g3. Just letting the rook on e1 be taken. We see queen takes e1 check and king h2. Now the idea here is that the queen and the bishop are threatening checkmate. White's down a ton of material, but the black king on h8 is very uncomfortable. The only move, and it's still hard for me to wrap my head around this, the only move that saves black in this position is the move bishop h6. It's the only move that saves black in this position. An example line is bishop takes h6, rook f7, defending that h7 pawn. And then here for white, the best move is bishop takes h7. Looks kind of crazy, right? Well, the idea is that after king takes h7, we have bishop d2 check. And this queen on e1 is about to fall, right? The other option is to take with the rook. But here we have queen e8, and the game's over, right? So after bishop takes h7, the bishop can't even be taken, and the best move is actually rook c6. An example line includes bishop e4, and then rook takes h6. Queen takes h6 check, king g8, queen g6 check, king f8, queen h6 check, king e8. I won't go through the whole line, but basically in this position, there is a perpetual check. And this was the only way for black to get out of this position alive, was to play the crazy looking bishop h6. Obviously, that's a very hard move to find, let alone in a blitz game. So here Karpov plays h6, which is what most people would have played. And here Tal continues with bishop takes h6, and after king g8, bishop takes g7. Here black's position is just falling apart. If black takes the bishop here, we have a simple mate in two, with queen g6 check, and after king h8, queen h7, right? So after bishop takes g7, Karpov took the pawn on f2, even being more material ahead now. But in this position, the black king on g8 is just too exposed, and there's a simple mating pattern here with queen h7 check, forcing king f7, queen g6 check, forcing king g8, bishop h6 check, and here Karpov resigned, idea being after king h8, queen g7 would have been checkmate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Obviously, as we saw, Tal is a very aggressive player, giving up most of his pieces. But it just comes to show, just because you're down material doesn't mean that you have a bad position. Chess is all about activity of the pieces. And at the end of the day, all that matters is that you checkmate the opponent's king, which is what Tal did. Thanks for watching today's video. If you'd like to watch another one, you can click or tap up here. And I've got a lot more high quality chess content on the way. So if you'd like to subscribe, you can click or tap down here. I really appreciate your support.